Today I'm going to show you how to make a cheesy smoked beef taco with a homemade corn salad, all made on the Blackstone. Alright, we're going to get a couple of chuck roasts here. We're going to take these chuck roasts, just put a little bit of oil on them, just to get something to hold the rub on. Then we're going to use this Holy Voodoo Meat Church rub. You can use whatever your favorite barbecue rub is. Just get that coated all over really good. Okay, once you have that, I'm going to take my meat probe thermometer from the Blackstone smoker. I'm going to just stick that right inside one of the thickest pieces of meat. Set the smoker to 250. Alright, once your smoker's preheated, just set those in there. We're going to plug in our meat thermometer so that we can monitor our temperature.
Three hours later.
Alright, so my meat is almost to temp, so I'm going to go ahead and get a bed of onions put in a pan here. So I'm going to go ahead and cut 2 to 3 large sweet onions for this. For these onions, we're just going to slice these up into decent sized slices. And just kind of make a bed of them across the bottom here. We want to just cover the bottom of this pan. So however many onions you need to cover the bottom of the pan. This is a smaller pan, so I'm guessing probably 2, maybe 3 onions, depending on the size of your onion, to cover the bottom of that. Okay, once we have the bottom of our pan covered, we're going to add some beef tallow to this. Beef tallow is basically just animal fat. I got this beef tallow from my local farmer's market. It's the Ungovernable Project. It's a local Texas farm where they do grass-fed beef and they do grass-fed beef tallow. So that's what this is. So we're going to do a decent sized spoonful, a couple of them here on the bottom, right on top of the onions here. And then our meat has hit that 165 mark, so we're ready to pull it off. We're going to just set that right on top of that beef tallow in those onions. Look at that meat, it looks excellent. We can actually pull that thermometer out. We're done with it. Then we're going to add another couple of good-sized spoonfuls of that beef tallow right on top of our meat here. That's going to add a lot of beefy flavor to these chuck roasts. And then finally, I'm going to pour some beef broth in the bottom of our pan here. I'm just going to fill the bottom of this pan with that broth. You know what? I might just do the whole can. Why not? Then we're going to cover this with some foil. And then we'll put this right back on our pellet grill for another couple of hours.
2 hours later.
Alright, we're going to pull this off and let it rest. Okay, so this chuck roast has been resting for over an hour. As you can see how it just pulls apart. That's exactly what we're going to see for this. We've got this beautiful pulled beef that we're going to use to make some tacos, and it's sitting in this au jus. the beef tallow and the beef broth. We've got those onions in there, adding a bunch of flavor. Okay, so now that our beef has been made in the Blackstone smoker, now we're going to prep our tacos and get ready for that. All right, so we are going to start by making our sauce for the tacos. So for this, we are using some Duke's mayo. Not using exact measurements here, but I've got maybe about a 1/4 cup of mayo there. And then maybe about the same amount of sour cream, about a 1/4 cup. And then to that, I've got this, I don't know how to pronounce that, roja? Whatever that is, we've got some of this taco sauce here. And so we're gonna put some of that in here. That's gonna give it a little bit of color, a little bit of heat, a little bit of flavor. We're gonna mix that up real good. I think this needs a little more. Want some color in there. That looks good. There you go. So there's your sauce for your tacos. That'll go right on top. We'll taste that. It's pretty good. All right. So there's that sauce. So the next thing we're going to make is like a corn salad for this, but we're going to roast our corn. So I'm just using some frozen super sweet corn. You could of course use corn on the cob or whatever you want, but this is a weeknight dinner. We're in a hurry, and so this is the fastest way to do this. So I'm going to just throw this over here on my preheated hot Blackstone. So we're really just roasting this corn up. We're not really adding a whole lot to it here. Most of the ingredients for this corn salad will be added after I pull this off because they're going to be cold ingredients that I don't necessarily want cooked. Okay, while that corn is cooking, I'm going to go ahead and prep my cold ingredients for the corn salad. I'm just going to use a red onion here. And for this red onion, we're just going to dice this up pretty small. And then once you have your red onion, we're just going to chop up some cilantro here. I don't like to include the stems. You of course can. We're just going to do a rough chop on this cilantro. And that's that. So for this corn, it was of course frozen, so we're trying to get it cooked through, and I like to have a little bit of this char. See that char on that corn starting to form? That's what I like to see. So not adding any butter or anything to this. I just used oil on the top of the griddle, a light amount of oil, and I'm just letting this cook up on there. That's about what we're looking for right there. So at this point, I'm going to pull this off and just put it in a bowl. Alright, so I've got my corn, so I'm just going to take all my cold ingredients and just kind of throw that in there with that corn. So there's my red onion. Here's my cilantro. To that, I'm going to add a hefty amount of Blackstone's tequila lime seasoning. And then we're going to throw in some Duke's mayo. About 1/4 to a 1/2 cup. And sour cream. Also 1/4 to a 1/2 cup. And then we've got some queso fresco here. And so I bought the block. So we're going to take that and this just crumbles right up. So you're just going to crumble that in there. All right, so there's about maybe a little more than half of that block of queso fresco. We're just going to stir this all up. All right, so this is our corn salads. Let's give this a taste just to see if we're on the right track. Perfect. All right, so for the tacos, we're going to be using some soft flour tortillas. You can, of course, use corn. I honestly think this might be better with corn tortillas, but nobody in my house likes corn tortillas, so we're doing flour. And on the griddle, I've got this on low heat because I don't want to overcook them. I like to put down some oil when I do this because I want my tortillas to kind of crisp up while the cheese melts on them. So I'm going to throw these down, and then we've just got some of this quesadilla melting cheese. We're just going to throw some of that on each one. Okay, my microphone died, so I had to switch over to voiceover. So basically at this point, I'm just folding these over and making little mini quesadillas out of them. Trying to get them just nicely toasted on each side, let that cheese melt inside of them. We don't want to overcook them. We just want that cheese to be melted. Then I'm going to pull them off the griddle, let them rest for just a minute. I want that cheese to stay melty, but I want them to be cool enough for me to pick them up. And then we're going to just pull these open. Look at that melty cheese inside there. And then we're going to load these up. This is where we're going to build our tacos. So we're going to throw in a hefty amount of our beef and onions. And then we're going to top it with a large amount of our corn salad that goes right on top. And then of course we're going to finish it with a drizzle of our sauce we made there. These tacos are so good. They're drippy and juicy. I highly encourage you guys to give them a try. They are delicious. Don't forget to leave me a like and a comment. It really does help me out. Till next time, thanks for watching.